Unit 2. Within this unit, the students will learn to compare numbers 0 to 5. Children will use the strategy one-to-one correspondence to identify sets with the same number, more or fewer. It is important to have access to hands-on objects, not just drawings. Two basic ways to compare sets of objects are direct comparison, or matching, and counting the number in each set. Both methods can help children decide whether two sets have the same number of objects. It is important for children to be able to show comparisons in various ways. Various ways can include drawing a picture, number lines, tallies, counters, and a 5 or 10 frame. Students will gain a greater understanding of comparing sets when they are able to manipulate their models to see how they can change, for example, adding or removing objects from one of the sets. The slide shows the vocabulary your child will become familiar with during this unit. The same number idea sets the stage for later learning to use the equal sign to indicate that quantities are the same. In this unit, the equal symbol will be introduced to show when two sets are equivalent, as well as the not equal symbol when sets are not equivalent. As teachers introduce these symbols, we want students to understand that the symbols mean the same value as or not the same value as. How this idea differs from the way we learned what the symbol meant was that the equal symbol represented an answer and not the same value. In the last two columns, you will see the terms greater and less. The symbols that correspond with them will not be taught until first grade. According to research, the word less is more difficult than more. A possible explanation is that children have many opportunities to use the word more, but have limited exposure to the word less. For example, may I have more cookies? On the previous slide, the terms higher, lower, bigger, or smaller were not listed. These words build misconceptions. For instance, when looking at this slide and comparing the numbers 2 and 8, if asked which is the bigger or higher number, a child could say 2, when in reality the question originally intended to ask which is the greater quantity. These terms relate to position or size and not quantity or value. In kindergarten, there are some common errors that students make. As students are posed with challenging tasks of comparing objects, at times they may not correctly count the number of objects in a set. Encourage children to make a dot or circle on the pictures as they count. This will help them avoid counting a picture more than once. Another common error is that children may not correctly match counters in two sets, as in the picture shown. Using matching helps children visualize that when each object has a partner, the sets have the same number. Have children draw lines between pairs or partners. Point out that there can only be one line coming from each counter. The set with the greater amount of counters will have a counter or counters without a partner. Therefore, there will be no line drawn from those counters. There are many opportunities at home to have your child practice comparing. For example, while at the dinner table, you could ask your child, how many ice cubes are in your cup compared to how many ice cubes are in my cup? Which of us has more, or which of us has less? Another example could be, how many girls are in our family compared to how many boys? An example of a game that could be played is comparing numbers on cards, similar to the game of war. Some children may still need to make a model to compare the numbers on the cards. At home, these models can be built using pennies, cotton balls, or other small household items. In the picture on the left, a child has used stickers to create quantities and practiced using the correct symbol indicating whether or not the sets are equal or not equal. This slide shows some sample classroom tasks. After your child has had much experience comparing quantities using tools, they will need to be able to transfer their knowledge of comparing to pictures of objects. In the task on the left, the child would need to count the number of pictures in each set, represent them with numerals, and fill in the numeral to complete the sentence. For example, 5 is more than 3. In the task on the right, the child will need to count the number of pictures and represent the same number in a drawing of their own. The purpose of this video is for you to focus on the teacher's questioning as the child completes the task. Notice how the teacher does not tell the child he is wrong, however, questions the child to help guide them to the correct answer. Keeping communication with your child's teacher. You can access additional support materials on Think Central by logging on with your child's lunch number, and the password will be your child's 2-digit month, 4-digit year of their birth. For example, if your child's birthday is April 2008, then the password would be 042008. Thank you, and we'll see you next episode.